Excuse me. Right. Let's do this. All right.
It's a bird bath. Is that just rainwater? Looks a little weird.
The birds seem to like it.
They're even singing a little tune. Toot, 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 toot.
Please don't do that.
Right. Okay, so that hasn't changed. Shall we recap? Golden Bean. Okay. There's a bevy of stuff we found here. This. Is this all the people? It can't be. Is it? Really? See, it feels like more people than this. Alright. Well, as I recall, last time we just took everybody's depositions, basically. And everybody's story checks out. Most disappointingly. This is nice that it kind of shows us where everybody is. I think we're supposed to go talk to Poppy about something specific. So we'll start there. But we need to show all the clues to everybody. Ask them about people. Start working through this problem. Okay. Suspicion. Interesting. Alright, what do you think of Flora?
Needless noise from tongues expel, unless within the mouth they dwell. The spoken word, unfit for dealing with the shifting form of feeling. Stand unblinking in the face of taciturn and soundless space.
Nice. I'm not going to be able to understand a dang thing she's talking about.
Foregone drifter, holding fast. Days as shadow seeker past. Is it bravery or surrender, accepting that your world will render nothing darker than the gloom some four walls make round a room?
What?
Between the lips a silver spoon, a story written all too soon. The chosen dwelling of her heart, unjustly chosen to depart. Lost her liberation lays in the center of a maze.
That makes no sense. Howdy, Snow. How are you doing?
With surging tide, the waves are thrown, an entity of all its own. On its surface you may see, reflected in the waters be, the orchestrator, pale and still, pulling strings, enacting will.
So she's calling Hawkshaw an orchestrator, a manipulator of sorts.
Hard of head, but free of mind, unimprisoned, unconfined. With starry eyes, she sees beyond, behind our walls, beneath our pond. A soul untied, it's hers, it's free. Was then, is now, will ever be.
Okay, whatever. I'm doing pretty well. Eating mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is really good. Especially if you got like Some diced jalapenos in there, man. Grill them up, chop them up, and put them in your mac and cheese. That's good stuff. But I'm doing well. A little hungry now that you mention it. But I can take care of that later.
Softly does the flower grow, all in time, and time is slow. Rest a seed within the earth, but do not rush its gentle birth. Hour by hour, day by day, tune your heart to nature's way.
I'll get over it. It'll be fine.
Eavesdrop what the stars are saying, earthly tether, slowly fraying, floating helpless from the worst of jealous hunger, selfish thirst. Take a moment, kneel and meet the flowers growing at your feet.
I'm glad we're getting through Poppy first. If this is how she's gonna talk, I'm just happy to get this behind us.
Feathers flashing in the light, from a sunbeam gleaming bright. I shield my eyes and turn my head, but all at once I've been misled. Light is shining on the stage, but through the railings of a cage. That's me. I'm on a list of murder suspects. Always thought that would be kinda cool, but it's just tedious.
Falls a little short, doesn't it?
Because Sally was on our list of suspects in the first game. I guess that's where that comment comes from. Oh my god, we got all of this to talk to this lady about.
So there are 2 families living in Tangle Tower?
Mm-hmm. 3 pointers and 5 fellows. 4 fellows.
What's the connection between them?
There isn't one. Not really. It was all built by the Remington family. Flora's a Remington, originally. So was Primrose, my mother. She married into the Pointers, and Flora married into the Fellows.
So the Fellows and the Pointers own the house now?
Flora owns the house. Depending on who you ask, that means her husband Felix owns it too.
What about your father?
His claim over the house kind of fell apart after my mother left.
Where's your mother now?
No idea.
No clue. I don't even know who they are.
There's something I noticed about Freya's knife wound.
Hit me.
From what we could tell, the blade went in at an exact right angle, perpendicular to Freya's body. And there's only one small pool of blood. Nothing on Freya's hands, or anywhere else. The whole thing is just a little too peaceful.
What do you make of the statue?
I know that's the only harp in the whole of Tangle Tower. I've never actually seen a real one.
Maybe it's from before your time.
Oh, definitely. You see how old this statue is?
What about the symbols? One of them looks like piano keys.
Yeah, weird.
Weird. How strange.
This is mine.
Really?
No, well, yes, it was. I gave it to Freya about a year ago.
What was on it?
Nothing. It was blank. Freya said she wanted to record something.
Any idea how it ended up underwater?
Maybe someone wanted to destroy it, but got really lazy. Don't you think that's weird? That the letter isn't addressed to anyone? Or signed by anyone?
Like, I don't even remember what it
Someone's
says.
being deliberately secretive.
They're trying to manipulate you. Why is the glass cracked down one side?
Natural wear and tear, maybe?
No way. Freya took good care of her stuff. Freya would always load up the palette with all the exact colors she was gonna need. I think it helped her zone out and focus on the actual painting itself. Like getting all your sheet music lined up before playing a long piece.
Right.
Yeah.
So the blob of black paint in the middle, that was for painting Flora?
Flora's dress, yeah. She was even more black than I do.
They need to have a goth out. See who's more goth.
When I first saw it, I thought it looked like Flora was holding a knife with blood on the tip.
You don't think that anymore?
No, it was a stupid thing to say. The room was dark. I was in shock. I'm just an idiot.
But it was blood on the tip. If you hadn't said anything, maybe Fifi wouldn't have checked.
Exactly. It's stupid.
But we would have missed out on an important clue.
Is it a clue? Really? Tell me how it's a clue. Tell me how it helps. Nothing about the knife makes any sense. It's just freaking everyone out. Wish I'd never said anything.
Huh? Alright, Snow. You enjoy your tutoring time as much as you can, I suppose. Teach them up good. We'll see you later.
What was inside?
Nothing.
Huh. It was my mother's originally.
So, why is it up in Flora's room?
She just gets the most use out of it. Freya would borrow it too sometimes.
Gramophone.
Does this belong to you, Poppy?
Now that's not really my style, is it?
But who else would own a tape like this?
Literally
See you later.
anybody? Is that supposed to be Flora?
Possibly.
Oh, how nice. Whose paints are those?
They belong to Felix, I think.
Felix's paint
Whose
bottles
paints are those?
They belong to Felix, I think.
are well kept. Maybe those are actually Freya's paint bottles. And these are maybe Felix's.
This is a photo of Fifi and Freya, right?
Yeah,
How come you're not in it? You're friends with them too, aren't you?
I'm not really one for photographs.
Fifi looks like she really admires Freya.
Fifi's loyalty to Freya is unshakable. I don't know what that is.
Weird, considering we found it hidden in your room.
Well, my room
Weird.
is full of junk. There's probably a bunch of stuff hidden in there. I don't mean like... Please stop talking to me.
Nope. Unfortunately. We have a lot more things to say to you.
I think everybody sees something different.
Did Freya ever tell you what she saw in it?
Not exactly. She said something about it being from a recurring nightmare.
Sorry, but if it was from a nightmare, why would you paint it and leave it in front of your bed?
Maybe she wanted to take control of it. Giving something a physical form can make it easier to deal with. Well, sometimes. Hey, that's me. Not a bad likeness.
Where? Oh,
It looks like you're standing in a rose bush.
Is there something wrong with that? Yeah, it's mine.
What's so special about it?
I got it from my teacher. It's the first piece I ever learned.
How long
Before
have you
she
been
killed
playing?
him.
Since the day I turned 6. Family tradition. I was really excited to start learning. As soon as I got out of my first lesson, I told Freya and Fifi all about it. When I arrived at my second lesson the next day, Freya was there too. She hadn't asked permission, just showed up. For 2 whole years, the teacher taught us both.
Was Freya any good?
She would have been even better than me, if she'd stuck with it. But one day, she just stopped coming to lessons.
Why?
That's just it. There was no reason. That's when I realized things were different for her.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes. I have it memorized.
Okay. That doesn't help me, like, at all.
That belongs to Flora, I think. Is that Fifi's diary? I'm sure I've seen it in her room before.
That's where we found it.
Have you ever read it? Do you know what's written in there?
Nope. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate me invading her privacy.
I thought you and Fifi were close friends.
Yeah, we are. It's just Fifi's gotten kinda impatient with me recently.
Do you know
Hmm.
why?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure she'd tell you if you asked.
Oh, she would. She'd give it to me straight. Probably why I've been avoiding it. Did you find that in Fifi's room?
No? Should we have?
No, it's just... It looks like something she'd use, don't you think?
What was it, the small lens? Oh, yeah.
Oh, you've been to the greenhouse? What did you think?
We've been
Impressive,
everywhere.
I guess. But kind of unsettling with Fitz lurking in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah, he does that. Is that a gardening trowel?
Yeah, I think it belongs to Fitz.
Really? Huh, never seen him use it. Don't look at me. I didn't break it.
Does anybody else use the music room?
Yes. I don't know who, but I can tell when somebody else has touched the piano.
There's a secret piano player.
Do you know where those earmuffs came from?
I put them there.
Why?
I found them lying around. I think they belong to Fitz. I put them on the statue so he'd see them. I thought they looked like headphones, like he's in the recording studio with his guitar. No?
If they do belong to Fitz, he hasn't taken them back yet. When did you find them?
This morning.
Where?
I don't know, in a hallway. Can't remember exactly. I
Okay.
see a lot of birds up in the rooftop garden. They seem to really like it up there.
Why's that?
It's quiet. I think it's kind of cruel to keep 3 birds in one cage like that.
Does Penny not let them out to fly?
Oh, she does. She must do. But I don't think they're allowed to go far. Penny can be a little protective. Never seen that one before. Was it in the greenhouse?
No, we found it in Penny's room.
Right.
She doesn't want to be reminded.
Those petals.
What about them?
It's nothing. They're just unusual. You get some weird insects around here, but I've never seen one like that.
I'm not sure anyone has.
Freya might have. She used to keep beetles in a box in her room.
Why?
For fun, obviously.
What, doesn't everybody? Okay, I'm sure there's a couple clues we're missing somewhere.
I need to confirm something with you, Poppy.
Confirm away.
What can you tell us about this cassette tape? Is it yours?
It belongs to Freya. She liked to have music playing while she was painting, you know.
And do you know what kind of music is on this tape?
No idea. Acid jazz?
It's piano music. Sounds an awful lot like your music, to be honest.
Sure it doesn't belong to you?
Why are we even talking about this? Cassette tapes have been redundant for a good few years now.
The tape was found at the crime scene. It was in the gramophone.
It's not mine. I'd never own anything like that.
Why not?
Not my color.
It used to be your color. Oh, it's right there.
You used to like these colors.
Howdy, Canoe.
Ridiculous.
We need a clue to compare with the cassette tape. Something that proves Poppy used to like these colors.
How are you doing today? I got a proof. It's right here.
Let's take a closer look at this.
What's this? Oh. Okay. Very hungry today. You know what? I'm hungry too, dude. I haven't had time to get much of anything ate. I have no idea what I'm going to do for dinner either. Found at the crime scene. Matches. The blonde girl. Matches the pink cassette player used by Poppy in this old photo.
The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the pink cassette player used by Poppy in this old photo.
Got him.
That is not me.
Yeah, it is. I'll prove it.
Okay. Easy.
You look a little different, but Fifi and Freya are pretty recognizable. It's clearly a photo of you with your two best friends. Why'd you tear it up? And then hide it?
I think the answer is pretty straightforward.
Poppy hates Fifi and Freya now. Poppy doesn't want to look like that anymore. The photo proves Poppy's a murderer. I knew it. I knew it. That looked pretty difficult, not really. It's pretty.
Poppy doesn't want to look like that anymore.
That's it. Makes this whole thing seem kind of irrelevant.
Maybe. It depends on the reason.
The reason she doesn't want to look like that anymore?
The passage of time is a powerful thing.
Oh god.
Hold on. This means that pink cassette tape does belong to you, Poppy.
It used to. I recorded some piano music onto it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape, the gramophone, and the murder.
There's one other thing I want to know. How did it get that crack down the middle?
I have no idea.
Everything with Freya seems to have a crack on it. Everything. Alright, I think that's everything we can talk to her about. Sounds like a druggie. Who, Poppy? I don't know what's wrong with her. She's got snakes in her head. Alright. Is it telling me I need to do anything else? Nothing immediately. So who's my second least favorite person to talk to? I think this guy. We haven't unlocked any of these things yet.
A listless soul drifting through the ether.
What's wrong with her?
Not sure. She's always been troubled. Comes from a dysfunctional family. I'd say you could ask her about it, but I think you might find that to be a bit of a dead end.
She doesn't do a lot of talking.
He should learn to make the most of his lot in life. And he does have a lot in life.
You're talking about money?
Among other things, but yes, he currently has agency over a small fortune. That is, if he hasn't already squandered it or lost it.
You two don't get on?
Oh no, we're the best of friends.
Sounds like sarcasm. Canoe would understand sarcasm.
Ah, yes,
Was
the
that sarcasm,
heiress of
Canoe?
Tangle Tower. Goodness knows what'll happen when she takes charge. I dare say she'll confiscate my telescope and replace it with a microscope.
She doesn't seem to be the type to impress her will on others.
Don't know what
Still,
sarcasm is?
keep an eye on her. Dangerously intelligent, that one.
You sound jealous. Wait, are you two science rivals?
Oh no, we operate on very different wavelengths. Literally. Hard to read, that one, but she seems to know what she's doing.
She's kind of mean.
You know, I simply assumed all detectives were sharp, rigorous, and thorough. Then, of course, I met you.
Didn't see that one coming. Caught me good.
Nobody could deny her talent. She was remarkable, artistically gifted, but also highly intelligent.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, you know.
Was she ever interested in astronomy?
I don't think she was. The fault may well lie with me for failing to inspire her. But I think she was captivated by more tangible things here on Earth. My daughter loved her. Fiona, too. That said, in the last year or so, more and more I've begun to notice her by herself, wandering the gardens at the most peculiar hours. She must have explored every inch of the grounds 100 times over. Quite a restless spirit, I think. I'm surprised she chose to live at Tangle Tower as long as she did.
Okay, so that was Freya.
What do you want me to say? He's the gardener.
He's a member of the family.
Yeah, but not the Pointer family.
What happened to his parents, do you know?
His father, Flint, is Felix's brother. Strange man. Don't think anybody knows what happened to him, but he certainly doesn't live here anymore.
What about his mother?
Emily? I've not met her. She never actually married into the fellow family. Her relationship with Flint was, it was short-lived. I don't especially want to talk about myself. Introspection often leads to vanity.
Wait, does it?
Why don't we discuss the moons of Jupiter instead?
I'm
That's
not
actually
sure if
pretty
we have
interesting.
time. Aren't there like 10 of them?
83.
Yeah, we don't have time.
Ah, Penelope, our resident ornithologist.
Penny's your niece, is that right?
At this moment in time, until she marries the gardener.
She'll still be your
Guess
niece.
I was about to say, she'll
But
still
she'll
be your
depart
niece.
from the world of the Pointers and join the Fellows. Like rats deserting a sinking ship.
This guy really doesn't like the fellows.
My Poppy, my pride and joy. Exceptionally talented pianist from a young age. She... Hold on. Why is she on your list of suspects?
Because she's a suspect.
Oh no, I can personally vouch for her innocence. She'd never... Well, the truth is, she loved Freya very dearly.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to Poppy's mother?
Primrose? She was Flora's sister, a Remington by birth. The playing field has never really been even since she left.
Where did she go?
Away. She went away.
Away. She couldn't stand this guy's haircut. So she left.
So which one is Tangle Tower?
What's that?
There are two towers, right? Flora's tower and your astronomy tower.
Neither? Truly, I have no idea. You'd have to ask Flora.
She named the house?
The whole thing is a result of her squabbling with her family.
With Felix, you mean? Her husband?
No, her brother and sister, and her father. The Remington family was a rather tumultuous little unit, you see. But I don't think Flora has spoken with any of them in over a decade.
Maybe she is dead, Canoe. Maybe she is. Maybe that's what went away means.
Not exactly a wealth of information, is it?
It's enough.
A very old statue indeed. I'd recommend you leave it well alone. The poor fellow's
think
in
so.
bad enough shape as it is.
I think we're gonna go twiddle around with those dials.
Isn't the process of decay fascinating?
It's not really decaying. It's plastic.
It's becoming one with nature, all the same. Where on earth did you find that?
It was in a bush outside. I think someone threw it away.
How peculiar.
Oh, peculiar.
Is this important?
Possibly.
Here's a thought. Do you suppose the paintbrush could be the murder weapon? After
No.
all, it was found at the scene, right next to Freya's body.
I guess it's possible.
Here's a thought. Do you suppose the paintbrush could be the murder weapon? After all, it was found at
I guess it's possible.
I don't think so.
I find that painting to be in rather bad taste.
Oh, yeah?
The knife with real blood on it?
It's not a knife.
The whole thing is rather vulgar. Curious little thing, isn't it? Do you know what she keeps in there?
Nothing. At the moment. It was empty when we opened it.
How bizarre.
Can't a woman keep an empty egg in her room?
What? Does Sally want to keep an empty egg in her room? So something used to be in there, but it got taken. Have to remember
Pointer
that.
property originally purloined by the fellows. Typical.
If this guy hates the fellows so much, why in the world is he living here? Peanut M&Ms, that's probable. I'd believe it. I could see somebody wanting to take all those, even though I don't like them.
I haven't seen that tape for a long time. Who broke it?
No idea.
Ah, well, possessions are fleeting, my friends.
Alrighty, Canoe. See you when you get back.
This looks a little rushed, even by Felix's standards.
At least he tried.
Yes, I suppose it's good for the old fellow to have a hobby. Keeps his mind from decaying, you know.
Keeps his mind from growing mold and, you know, stuff like that.
This is supposed to be Felix, is it?
I think so.
I see he's afforded himself considerable artistic license. Poppy's two closest friends. Freya looks so innocent there. Freya was well acquainted with the abstract, I'll say that much.
What does it look like to you?
To me, it's a big, red
Thing.
thing.
What a fascinating interpretation.
He's right, though.
He is right.
It is a big red thing.
It definitely is a big red thing. That is exactly how I would describe it.
These were drawn by Freya. She must have drawn that one of Hawkshaw rather recently.
I guess.
That's a very old book, isn't it? Looks like someone could have taken better care of it.
I like the look of a well-read book. Better than one that's never been opened.
Ah, well put.
Well put. Good job.
A diary can be a wonderful outlet for an outpouring of one's soul.
How do you know it's a diary?
I suppose I don't, but it does look like a diary. What's this?
It looks like it might be a telescope. Thought you might know something about it.
Well, it certainly is a telescope. It has a part there to screw onto a tripod, you see?
You see?
It's rather small, though. I'm not sure you could see many stars with it.
No, probably not.
Reckon we'll have to find where that goes at some point.
Fitz seems rather keen to grow things like this in his greenhouse, doesn't he?
What's wrong with that?
Well, you can't eat it. Makes you wonder why he bothers at all.
Why can't you eat it?
Oh, you found a murder weapon?
Steady on. It's just a gardening trowel.
Looks like a weapon to me.
It could be. Very well could be.
Curious creature, isn't it? Some sort of amphibious bipedal fishman.
Playing a trumpet.
Playing a trumpet, yes. What a precious photograph. She hasn't changed a bit, has she?
Who?
Oh, if you don't know, perhaps I don't either. Oh, my. This is the first piece that Primrose ever learnt on the piano. Primrose, that is Poppy's mother. She passed it down to Poppy when she started teaching her how to play.
Poppy's piano teacher was her mother?
Of course. Warms my heart to know that after everything, Poppy still has it up on her wall.
Poppy did not mention that.
I've seen those earmuffs before. They're the ones Fitz always wears when he's out the front gardening.
Always wears?
Whenever I've seen him, yes.
Interesting.
I think you may wish to adjust your threshold of what you consider to be a clue.
Need to turn our squelch down for clues, apparently.
That's rather a small cage for 3 birds, isn't it? But then, aren't we all trapped in a cage?
No. Not really.
What kind of flower is that?
We're not sure. I think it might be the only one of its kind.
Primrose would know. My wife was a floriculturalist. Best in the field. That's a flower joke, but she was.
Interesting.
Not that interesting.
Well now, that is most definitely none of my business. Quite possibly none of yours either.
Seeing as how we're on a murder investigation, I feel like that's pretty much the definition of our business.
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangle Tower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
Nothing to say about that. Feel like we're missing a couple pieces here. Actually, let's poke around.
It's
a
too
little bit.
cloudy to see any stars.
It's also daytime. There's something kinda disappointing about this room. I just expected a bit more from an astronomy tower.
Oh, does it not compare to all the other astronomy towers you've been to?
Feel like we've missed a couple things along the way. Alright, I don't like this one either. Her background music is also kind of weird.
A fellow bird enthusiast. She's quite the expert, truth be told. Studied them professionally at one point. I think her father taught her.
Are you friends with Flora?
A little bit.
A little bit friends.
She's one for the peace and quiet. I dare say I'm a little too loud for her.
I can see that.
I do admire her, though, really. Always felt like she could have done better than settle for Felix.
Ouch.
I said it. I must say, I really don't care for the den of self-delusion that he's retreated into. People are better off when they just let themselves be themselves. Between you and me, I think Felix is secretly rather miserable. She mostly ignores me, if I'm honest.
How come?
Well, we're not quite on the same intellectual level.
Oh. you don't need to.
No, it's quite all right. I'm comfortable with it. She's a most unsavory little...
Oh, she
She
does
was
not
incredibly rude
like
about my appearance.
Which part? The giant bird arms, or...
If I were her, I'd go easy on the judgment of others. I mean, look at her. She looks like the ghost of a scarecrow. I just wish Uncle Pointer would tell her to behave herself.
Professor Pointer? Why him?
Oh, it was Uncle that called her in. She's his responsibility. Did you not know that?
Nope, I don't think so. Now, why did he call her in? We'll have to go back and talk to him about that.
She'd sit in the aviary, first thing in the morning, and paint the birds. Sometimes she'd ask me their names.
Freya was interested in studying bird species too?
No, just wanted to know their names. Isabelle, Clementine, Myrtle, Lysandre, Genevieve.
Got it. Thanks.
Lysandre.
For my 21st birthday, she gave me a framed painting. All the birds from a single spring, with their names written underneath. I can't begin to tell you how much I've treasured it.
Sounds like you two were close.
Where is it now?
I feel like I always struggled to articulate my admiration for her. But she had a way of understanding unspoken things. Isn't he strapping?
He is big.
And so brooding.
Kinda sulky, yeah.
I can never tell what's going on in that beautiful head of his.
It just sounds like you don't know him very well.
I don't remember asking for your input. Can't say I've ever taken an interest in Uncle's astronomy. On occasion I've dared to visit him in his tower, but I always regret it. It's all just a little too abstract for me.
What do you mean?
Oh, did you know the sun is apparently over 400,000 miles wide? Okay, so what should I do with that information? How does it help me?
Don't look at me. You're the one who memorized it.
Welcome back, Canoe. Did you get you something to eat while you were up? Some peanut M&Ms, maybe?
Oh, she's beautiful. Who is she? Wait, is that me?
You knew it was you. Oh, pizza in the oven. What kind of pizza are we talking?
Oh, did you talk to Poppy already?
Yeah, a little bit.
And did you make any notes of what she told you?
Yeah, I did.
Lovely. Burn them. It'll all be lies.
Why
Oh.
would Poppy lie to us?
Because that's what she does. She's a snake. Looks like one, too.
Don't you think you're being a little unfair, Penny?
She started it.
Aren't they cousins or something? Yeah. Penny and Poppy are cousins, but Penny doesn't seem to like Poppy that much. Some sort of thin crust. Oh my god, thin crust. Philly cheesesteak pizza? So this is a frozen pizza? I've never seen anything like that.
You know, it's probably quite impressive. To a visitor, fresh eyes and all that.
Not to you.
Try living in it for 20 years. The sheen wears off. If it wasn't for my fits, I'd have little reason to stay.
What about inheritance? You're the next oldest pointer after your uncle, aren't you?
Well, thank you very much for phrasing it like that. But no, any money left in the Pointer family will pass down directly to Poppy.
Is that fair?
I couldn't care less, to be perfectly honest.
Sounds like she cares. Howdy, hamster. How are you doing?
Finally! I get to see a detective's case file.
That's a very specific thing to be excited about.
Well, only last week I asked that miserable Hawkshaw woman if I could see her case notes.
I'm guessing she said no.
Would have been much more polite if she had just said no. Instead, she was quite rude to me. Accused me of being, what was it? A shallow sensationalist.
How's the investigation? What? Investigation. Well, we found out a few things. Well, let's see. What did we find out? We found out this absolutely had something in it at some time. But now, someone's stolen them. Canoe posits said it was peanut M&Ms, and I've got no reason to disagree.
I'm sure I've read about this creature somewhere. Don't remember anything about him playing the harp, though. I'm sure I've read about this creature somewhere. Don't remember anything about him playing the harp, though. Goodness me. Poppy really doesn't take care of her belongings, does she?
It wasn't in Poppy's room. It was in the little pond in the garden.
Exactly! Hardly the place for it.
Hardly. Item text is, yeah. Yeah, even if if it doesn't really have anything to do with anything, I'm not getting just the same old thing over and over and over again. This is a lot better.
Hello. Who penned this juicy little number?
We don't know. It's not signed.
An anonymous letter? Classic clue. Freya doesn't take very good care of her paints, does she? But then she was always rather bohemian, had her own priorities.
Poppy said that Freya keeps really good care of her stuff. But they were surprised that Felix's stuff was so well maintained. No more puzzles just yet. What are we going to do to the thief? Canute wants to hang them.
Oh, that's rather sad.
Why is that sad? Can you be more specific?
I doubt Freya intended it, but the overall effect is a little unsettling, don't you think? It's Flora that's the problem. She's an inescapably haunting presence, bless her.
Well, that's what he said right there. Wants to see them hanged.
Gaudy old thing, isn't it? Flora seems very fond of it. I've never understood why. But then I could say the same thing about her husband.
Heyo!
Poppy's gramophone. She's had it for a long time. As a young child, she'd call it her mama phone, on account of it belonging to her mother.
That's cute.
Oh yes, adorable.
I don't know. I've got it set to full screen, and that's just the way it does. It's just the way it do. And also, I can't set it to my full resolution.
How terrible.
You recognize it?
The color scheme. 3 different pinks. Obscene.
3 different pinks? I only see 1 pink.
How
Let's see.
terrible.
You recognize it?
The color scheme. 3 different pinks.
Okay.
Obscene.
I guess it is 3 or so different pinks. And yellow.
If I'm not mistaken, that little red and white one is supposed to be a bird of some kind.
Yeah, we already know about the bird. I didn't even pay attention.
A bit vain to carve wooden figurines of oneself, isn't it? Freya was very talented, even at that age.
Do you know how old this photo is?
Not sure. Must be a couple of years at least. Sometime before Fiona settled on her current style.
Fiona. Oh, wait. Who the hell's Fiona? I've lost track of who Fiona is.
I know a lot of people rather like this painting, but it's a little much for me. I find it overbearing. And for some reason, it makes me feel bad for Freya. I think she was more troubled than we knew.
Fifi is Fiona? Okay.
I know a lot of people rather like this painting, but it's a little much for me. I find it overbearing. And for some reason, it makes me feel bad for Freya. I think she was more troubled than we knew. Very nice.
You've seen these before?
Yes.
All of them. Even this one of...
Yes.
She doesn't like it. Not one bit.
Somebody taking an interest in extinct animals.
Extinct.
Oh, yes. The book is very old. Most of the birds in it are long gone.
Well, what about this bird, though? The ink dip.
This one, well, it was thought to be extinct for a long time. Then one was found here at Tangle Tower.
So it's not extinct.
You misunderstand. It was the last one. The very last.
Oh.
Howdy, Kepper. How are you doing today? You saying Penny's pretty? I guess she's got a pretty animation.
Secret diary.
That's our guess too.
She's not my
Excellent.
least favorite character. But she's not my favorite character.
Ooh, a secret diary.
That's our guess too.
Excellent.
Yeah, the voice actor's really good for this character.
I don't know what that is.
The voice acting seems to be pretty good. This game seems so chill. I haven't heard of it. Well, it's... Tangle Tower just came out this year, right? Or rather, 2019. I'm still thinking 2019 is this year.
Ooh, delightful. More of a gemstone than a fruit, isn't it?
Inedible, too, I think.
Yes. At one point, I thought Fitz might be growing them to sell them. But honestly, I think he just likes the way they look. Oh, did Fitz show you that?
Not exactly.
No, he was hiding.
We found it hidden under his bed.
Ah, right.
So I guess she gave him this.
Haven't seen this one in a while. He lives in the music room, doesn't he?
Currently.
I can't decide what's worse. How she looks here, or how she looks now.
Do you know who this is? In the photo?
Oh, absolutely no idea. Looks a little simple for Poppy, doesn't it? Thought she was a grade 12 or something.
I didn't know there were that many grades.
I'm sure they invented some new ones just for her.
Wow. There's a little bit of animosity there.
Lovely. There used to be all kinds of birds here at Tangle Tower. The most fascinating breeds, all totally unique.
Used to be? There are birds all over the place.
Most of them are rather ordinary, I'm afraid.
What happened to the non-ordinary ones?
That is a very good question.
What did she say?
There used to be all kinds of birds here at Tangle Tower. The most fascinating breeds, all totally unique.
Used to be? There are birds all over the place.
Most of them are rather ordinary, I'm afraid.
What happened to the non-ordinary ones?
That is a very good question.
She's lost track of her extraordinary birds. Is this woman Canoe?
I must say the girls are awfully well behaved today. I think they know we're in the presence of
This is
company.
not how I
They
picture
belong
Canoe.
to you? Why do you keep them in a cage?
They need a special diet, particular treatment. I let them out to fly occasionally, of course. But they're all one of a kind. I couldn't let anything happen to them.
Do they have names?
Of course. Let me introduce you to Tabitha, Tamara, and Tatiana.
I've already forgotten all three of those names.
Yeah, me
Which
too.
one is which?
Oh, that's simple. Tatiana is the oldest, Tabitha is the most patient, and Tamara has the best sense of rhythm.
That doesn't help.
Glad we cleared that up.
What about the one on your head?
On my head? He's just my hat. He doesn't have a name. Who would name their hat?
Who would refer to their head as a he? Is she more or less present than Canoe? I don't know.
Yes, it's my, my flower.
You don't like it?
I'm no good at caring for plants. I forget to water them. Birds are much easier. They're a lot more vocal when they get thirsty.
Do you at least like the look of the flower?
The look?
The colors? The shape of it?
Between you and me, I think it's a little vulgar.
Okay. We get it.
That's rather strange now, isn't it?
We found it in your room.
Just lying around, was it?
Nope. You'd hidden it, but we found it.
We do that.
Yep, we just go
Who's
around
the
and
her in the message? And what's the deal with the petals?
It's really
poking
none of your
people's
business.
personal stuff. That's what we do.
Not a fan of insects myself. Whose research is this?
We were hoping you might know.
No, can't say I. Rhea, perhaps. I know she was always very fond of grubby little things like this.
Noted. There's something about those
Aha.
petals we found in Penny's room. Something
Suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
Let's go. We have a suspicion.
So, yeah.
Whomst?
We found this.
Oh, that's nothing.
You wrote, "Now I'll get her," on a piece of paper and hid it in your room. That's not nothing.
Actually, it's not the message I wanted to ask about. It's those red flower petals.
The petals.
They're from red roses. And there's only one place in Tangle Tower with red roses.
We need a clue. Something that shows the roses and who they belong to.
Where would we find such a clue? Where would that clue be? This.
It's a drawing of Fitz and Poppy in the rooftop garden. See what Fitz is holding?
I can't imagine what you're getting at, but it doesn't matter. I couldn't have taken anything from the rooftop garden. It's only accessible from Fitz's room or Poppy's room. How could I have taken something from a garden to which I have no access?
Is it really only accessible from those 2 bedrooms?
For most people, it would be. But don't forget, Penny's the resident ornithologist.
My dears, what are you accusing me of?
What are we accusing her of? Let's see. One pities birds. Or maybe not. How and why did Penny decide to access the rooftop garden? That's our question. The burbs was used to kill Canoe and distract them. This game does have a lot of cool stuff in it. It's really similar to the first one, but the dialogue's a lot better. Huh. Let's see. How and why did Penny decide to access rooftop garden? I feel like this goes here. The flower did it. Obviously. Huh. How and why did Penny decide to access rooftop garden? This kind of makes sense.
Pointer's telescope was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz, but it didn't work. Nope.
No, that's not it. Hmm. None of these really make sense. Is Fitz high or something? You mean the red eyes? This maybe? This doesn't make as much sense to me, but we're gonna try it.
One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz and steal evidence from them.
Alright.
We know those two have been spending time together in the rooftop garden. I'm guessing you got paranoid. Wanted to know what they were up to.
I'm just not the jealous type. I would never suspect Fitz of anything like that. Besides, Tabitha hardly ever leaves her cage. She's certainly never flown up to the rooftop garden.
What about the
We need a
others?
clue to compare with Penny's birds. Something to prove one of them has been in the rooftop garden.
Just with the tongue of a large stone frog. I think this is it.
Let's take a closer look at these.
This yellow feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the rooftop garden.
This yellow feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the rooftop garden.
Got him.
I can't stand it! Knowing the two of them are hidden away up there in their private little garden. I couldn't risk spying on them myself, so I asked dear Tabitha to do it for me. I knew she'd be able to bring me back some evidence.
Sorry, Penny, but are you not overreacting a little?
You don't understand. Fitz is slipping away from me. He's so quiet with me these days. But being with Poppy seems to bring him out of his shell. I don't know what he sees in her miserable little... I
Well,
apologize. This really isn't your burden to bear.
I don't know. I think you're jumping to a conclusion there, Hamster. I don't think the bird would have killed him for you. Although this one's got a huge, long, stabby beak. So maybe... Alright. More clues, no more peeps. No more of that. We've already talked to Poppy. Let's go talk to Fitz. Yeah, the music's pretty good in this game, for the most part. Yeah, the last one we had to move via clicking all the arrows space to space. That was kind of tedious. This is a lot better. This game is way better than the first one in just about every way so far. Returned with the pizza. I forgot what's on the pizza. Look at his red eyes. Alright, start talking to him.
I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any additional suffering for anyone. Felix is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism, money,
Yeah, he's a big
property.
dude.
But his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
I was just about to say the same thing.
Fifi doesn't like me.
What did you do?
I'm not sure. If you find out, maybe you can let me know. She questioned me.
About what?
My work, the plants, Bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me. I can tell.
We don't even know why she's here. This pizza is no bueno. Why not? What's wrong with that pizza? Oh yeah, it's a Philly cheesesteak pizza. I was kind of thinking, that doesn't sound like the best pizza in the world.
She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working, sometimes by herself, sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them.
Me like
Freya
this.
brought me this little glass box, leaves and twigs inside. She'd say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her, but she was always kind.
Sauce is like some kind of gravy, mozzarella, or some sort of white cheese. Steak, onions, and peppers. Gravy tastes questionable.
Have you met this guy, Fitz? Shifty eyes, doesn't say a lot. Totally suspicious, if you ask me.
That's me.
Yeah, it was a joke. I was joking.
Oh, I see.
This guy doesn't have much of a sense of humor. Every time I've ever had something that isn't a cheesesteak, but says it's cheesesteak, it's been terrible.
I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing in the greenhouse. Asks me about the birds, too, and insects. He's pretty clued up on his evolutionary biology.
I didn't think there was much overlap between astronomy and biology.
Well, it's not too late. You can still get in the other one. I really like the animations in this game, too.
Penelope is my fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think she's... well, they make assumptions.
And how's the relationship doing recently?
Good. It's good.
It's good. No, really. It's fine.
Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong?
In your private garden. Giving her lessons.
Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed estimation.
Couldn't she, like, take a little boat out in the lake and paint it from there or something? I mean, I don't know. But it doesn't have to be an estimation, I don't think. Plus, doesn't any of these people have a camera? I mean, obviously somebody does.
Who gave you that information?
Of course you couldn't.
Well,
We don't actually know who it was. We were contacted anonymously.
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I never thought about that.
Honestly, that would be kind of fun. Like a twist, you know?
So, we don't really know who brought us out here? So how do we know we're going to get paid?
It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about it once.
What were they saying?
They were arguing about something, but I can't remember the details. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. How odd.
How strange.
Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with perfect, faultless colors. Red, blue, white. With paint, once you've tainted a color by mixing it with others, not even the most skilled painter can return it to its pure form. There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly.
What do you think that is in Flora's hand?
I don't know. It does look like a knife, but
It
Flora
isn't.
wasn't holding anything at all when I saw her after the murder. But there's something bothering me. Something else.
What?
When we went into Flora's room, she wasn't standing in this position.
Well, she probably would have moved around a little bit by then.
She wasn't standing at all. She was kneeling on the floor. It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but we opened it, but it was empty.
But.
Fun story.
Wow. A little snark from the guy.
That belongs to Poppy.
So, why is it up in Flora's tower?
I'm not sure. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. That's quite sweet, really. Felix made that? It's Fifi and Freya.
Don't you think Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe, maybe not. She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
But 3 is.
Right, but if she was in the photo, then it'd be 3.
Checkmate.
Freya's best work, in my opinion. Although, the photo doesn't carry the same energy as the real thing.
What do you think it's a painting of?
What do you mean?
Like, what's the subject matter? What's that big red thing?
Oh, I don't think it's that kind of painting.
It kind of reminds me of the other detective, Hawkshank or whatever.
Fitz, one of these drawings is of you, in the rooftop garden, I think, with Poppy.
Yeah, what of it?
Are we done?
He doesn't really want to talk about that.
Penelope knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see? Do you have any? In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore. I've tried, in the past. It's incredibly difficult, even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks.
But we've seen that plant in this painting.
Looks like someone doesn't want you to read that book.
That's the main thing making me want to read it.
You ever seen this before, Fitz?
No, but I don't normally go into Fifi's room.
That's not where we found it.
Oh, I just thought it looks like it belongs to her. This is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gem-stony.
Sometimes. You never really know what's going to happen.
And what do you do with this shiny, inedible fruit?
You look at it.
Fair enough.
This is yours, Fitz?
Yeah,
Do you use it?
I keep all my tools in the greenhouse.
That wasn't what she asked.
Trade them for peanut M&Ms. Theoretically, he could grow peanut M&Ms with this miracle soil he's got.
What's with the broken glass?
Any idea who this is?
No idea. Poppy's piano music. I remember when she started learning. She's improved a lot since then.
Yeah, that's generally how it works.
Right. Of course.
Gemstone M&Ms. Maybe.
Wait, those are mine, the earmuffs. They went missing about a week ago.
What do you need earmuffs for?
I use them for gardening sometimes.
Why? You don't own a chainsaw, do you?
No. I wear them while I'm gardening, and it stops people from trying to talk to me.
That's genius.
We found these up in the rooftop garden. Do you know how long they've been there?
No, it could have been a long time. We don't ever really clear up the rooftop garden.
Why not?
Nature is unruly. In truth, it prefers to be left alone.
Canoe needs what? Feathers? Or the headphones? Not headphones, earmuffs.
Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they like her pets? Do they have names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember what she named them?
I do not.
Neither do I. But they all started with T. That much I remember.
A flower.
Yeah, it's a flower. We found it in Penny's room.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to. Those petals, they,
What?
they're red.
They are red. Very good. Well spotted. Tabitha, Tatiana, and Tamara.
I've seen beetles with brightly colored shells, metallic shells even. They're relatively common, especially around here. There's a difference between that and actual gold.
It can't be actual gold. Gold is just inside the earth or whatever. You can't make it. That's called alchemy. It was a whole thing.
It was this whole thing. Okay.
A little chart of, Actually, I have no idea what it's about. Kinda reminds me of a periodic table. Kinda reminds me of a periodic table.
Just don't guess we can do anything with this just yet.
What do you make of it?
Not a whole lot.
Let's talk to her. I think this painting is of Hawkshank. It actually kind of looks like her a lot. Detective Hanky Panky?
Quite the stoic statue, isn't she? I can only dream of being as cold and indifferent as Florafellow.
You think she's hiding something?
Perhaps. She has some strange habits. I heard she barely sleeps, an hour here or there, sporadically. Spends the rest of her time staring up at the sky. Did you get anything useful out of him?
Not sure. What
Yeah,
about
this
you?
is a cool character.
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. But talking with him is so tedious. Considerably intelligent, and her powers of observation are enviable. But she has no ambition. No focus.
In her defense, she's still a teenager.
Barely. 314 cases solved. 314.
Well, Grimoire's impressed.
Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, Detective.
Why not? Just help. If you know, say something.
I'll say this. He's well suited to physical labor.
That's a nice way to put it.
Fitz spends most of his time alone in the greenhouse, but I heard he's been breeding experimental flowers in secret.
Whoa, scandal.
I just wonder if he's getting restless.
It's an odd way to say that.
Professor Pointer is a respectable astronomer. Keeps himself to himself. What?
We're just surprised.
That was the most polite you've been about anyone.
Well, he hired Hawkshaw, but we still don't know why.
I find her rather embarrassing. Little more than a spoilt child.
Penny must be at least 25.
27. Just makes it worse. Poppy has remarkable musical talent. She could be famous, wealthy even, if she wanted to.
I should probably have to leave Tangle Tower first.
Quite.
Main guy looks like Markiplier. Are you talking about Grimoire? I watched a little bit of Markiplier a long time ago. Not really my thing. So I've kind of lost track of what Markiplier looks like.
Tangle Tower. No idea why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
Huh. I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that. I
Are
was
they?
disappointed too.
Oh. Sally's cool. I like Sally. I didn't really realize until almost we were done with the first stream of this game that that's the same Sally from the first game.
You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint. Have you deciphered the meaning of those 4 symbols on the harp?
Nope.
We're working on it.
That's a no then. Where'd you dig that up?
It wasn't buried. It was underwater.
Someone trying to conceal evidence, perhaps? Conveniently left anonymous. It's useless until you can prove to whom it concerns. Can you do that?
No.
Eventually.
No.
Wow. I bet. Well, Canoe. Oh, wait. You bet Canoe dislikes Sally? Or Hawkshaw? 'Cause I think he already said he doesn't like her.
Paints?
Yep.
Paints.
Mm-hmm.
The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told?
How else are we supposed to know? Sally tries too hard.
Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora wielding a knife.
It's not a
You
knife.
didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been brought into the room from outside. Unless, of course, it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe in that kind of thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of
Even
thinking.
Hawkshaw thinks it might be the painting.
You got it open. I'm impressed. I managed it myself yesterday. I thought Flora might be hiding something in
Oh,
there.
she knows
It
what's
was
in there
empty
too.
yesterday, too.
It was. Perhaps it's always been empty.
No, you know.
A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
I believe that was in Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it last.
So that's some recent damage it's taken.
These figurines remind me of a case I once solved involving a possessed doll. Turned out to be a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimoire, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we not having a fun adventure right at this very moment?
I'd tell him not to quit his day job. But he hasn't got one, has he?
Well, he's rich. Doesn't he need one? Unless he's not that rich.
A photograph of Freya. Could be important. I admit, it's powerful. Freya was a talented young woman.
Someone even liked it enough to take a photo of it.
Now, we don't know why they took the photograph, do we? Perhaps they just wanted it for reference.
When did Freya draw the picture of you, Hawkshaw?
I didn't model for her, if that's what you're asking. She must have done it without my permission.
Could just be from memory. It's not quite as detailed as the others, anyway.
A book from the library. One of hundreds, no doubt. What makes this one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that. A diary. Have you read it?
Not yet. It's locked.
And you haven't attempted to force it open?
That would be cheating.
He had another puzzle that would be easily solved with like a pry bar or a hammer or something.
This belongs to you, Hawkshaw?
Correct.
And, what is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up-close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you looking for?
That is between myself and my client.
Didn't Fritz just say she hasn't been in the greenhouse?
The people here are surprisingly materialistic,
Fitz, whatever the hell his
considering
name
how
is.
sheltered they are.
Materialistic?
Growing this fruit simply because it produces a gemstone-like material. For what possible purpose, other than financial gain?
You're speculating.
What would you do, Grimoire, if you could grow valuable stone straight from the earth?
Throw them at people?
This is a potential murder weapon, is it not?
I don't know. I don't think the murderer would leave the murder weapon just lying around.
I think you'd be surprised as to what people leave lying around. Some breed of amphibious humanoid. Potentially
Who,
bipedal,
Hawkshaw or Sally?
although none of the statues show the creature's feet.
I guess we'll never know.
Okay. That's an obvious reference to the first game. This and the statue.
Who's that?
Not sure. It doesn't really look like anyone we've met so far.
Strange.
We know exactly who that is.
Is that a clue?
Dunno. It was important enough to be framed, though.
I framed my law degree, doesn't make it a clue.
Same? Yeah?
Yeah, me too.
One of 3 statues depicting the same creature. This one is wearing headphones. Perhaps they belong to someone who likes music.
They're not headphones. They're earmuffs. For blocking out sound.
Perhaps they belong to someone who doesn't like music.
Maybe.
Do you also have a pile of leaves as a clue?
Oh, not yet. Did you see some suspicious leaves?
But these have been important already. And she's making fun of one of the few actually useful things we've had so far.
3 birds, 1 cage. What makes them worth keeping cooped up, I wonder? Would they not be happier flying free?
But then they might fly away from Tangle Tower entirely.
I wonder if they would. You consider that important evidence, do you? These people really are ridiculous, aren't they?
Yep, pretty much.
Where did you find this?
Do you have any theories about where this might have been?
Or who might have had it.
I have several theories, but they are my theories, and I'm not going to share them.
I'm leaning more towards Bully. Hope Hawkshaw gets murdered? Nah. I like this character. I I have a lot of theories going on in my head right now.
We already solved it.
Oh, right. I forgot. Yeah. I got a bunch of... and I've already mentioned them all. I've already said. I don't have any theories about who's done what, but just things like, I think this is a painting of Hawkshaw. Stuff like that. No big theories about who's done what or who or whatever. Not yet. And also, I'm almost absolutely certain that the thing Flora is holding in the painting is not a knife. That's that ink dip bird's feather.
Name, Flora Fellow. Age, 44. Profession, unknown. Likes, unknown. Dislikes, unknown.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not know anything?
I believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting nonverbal communication.
And how long has Flora been non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond.
Who have we not talked to? We haven't talked to Felix and Flora, really. We're basically moving from the top of the Pointer Tower, going down and up to the top of Fellow Tower, I think that's it. What's up with her eyes? I know. Her eyes are all screwed up. Don't talk to Pointer. He's ugly. We've already talked to him. Him and his stupid hair.
Name, Felix Fellow. Age, 53. Profession, none. Likes, collecting objects of negligible monetary value and assigning them personal value. Dislikes, the inescapable realities of human existence. Notes, Felix is my father and legal guardian.
And, is he a good dad?
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
No? Why not?
You asked me a binary question. Do not get upset that I provided one of the two possible answers.
What makes him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions, and something of a willful detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
Grimoire.
No, he is quite correct.
Huh.
Name, Fiona Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other
Got him.
fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tangle Tower a long time ago.
And what about Freya? How are you related to her?
We share exactly one grandparent. Name, Hawkshaw. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard.
That's funny. Mom said it's my turn with the grandparents.
Name, Freya Fellow.
But Mom...
Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me.
Yeah.
There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became 1. Increasingly independent, and 2. Increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
The three of you are friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. 1 scientist, 1 artist, and 1 musician.
Sounds like quite a team.
Name, Fitzfellow. Age, 24. Profession, cryptobotanist. Likes soil, dislikes electric lights.
Hang on. Cryptobotanist? I thought he was just a gardener.
That may well be his preferred label. Mine, however, is more accurate.
Do you and Fitz not see eye to eye, Fifi?
We do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot and you've got to be just barely 5.
So, what's your problem with him?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed
Also,
him
your
sneaking
eyes are
up
like on the
Pointed
side of your
Tower.
head.
He was making every effort to avoid detection.
So?
He was also carrying a knife.
Ding! That's important.
Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57. Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me.
And she doesn't really respect Professor Pointer. Fifi is cute. Howdy, Skull. She's not the most off-putting character. I find Poppy to be the most off-putting. I don't know what I'd say cute, though.
Name, Penelope Pointer. Age, 27. Profession, ornithologist. Likes, birds. Dislikes, insects. Notes, Penelope is very beautiful. I have never had very much in common with her. Name, Poppy Pointer. Age, 19. Profession, oh. Apparently Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had of course originally written pianist, but she has crossed that out and written the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
Interesting. She's a little prankster, that Poppy. Lothar isn't into side-mounted eyes. No, not really. I prefer humans whose physiology is less like a rabbit, I suppose.
What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
Must be worth a fortune.
Why do you ask, Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family. This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
That's quite an inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her.
Like Freya?
I require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell.
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife found at the crime scene,
Apart from the one in the painting.
which as a mere abstract representation does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife. The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp. Have you deciphered their meaning yet?
We're working on it.
Word.
We are.
We'll get it eventually. Anti-rodent behavior. Oh, you mean my dislike of rabbit eyes? I don't dislike them. I'm just not into them, I guess.
This belongs to Poppy. In fact, she owns a number of cassette tapes.
What happened to it, though?
It has been left underwater for an extended period of time.
Right. But
And yet we can still
why?
run it through a
I
player.
do not know why.
It still works.
Curious.
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
A whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring.
She was painting with blood. Also, we need to go back to Freya's room.
The red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood. Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
I do not know the answer.
That pizza burned the roof of Canu's
Freya
mouth.
is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself. I discovered that it was in fact not paint, but blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
It was Poppy. She told me she thought the painting looked like a bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course.
Looking at her with her crazy side eyes. Sucks for you, hater.
That belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs.
I love eggs. Eggs are delicious.
The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I believe she gave it to my mother, and my mother often loaned it to Freya. Or maybe it is the other way around.
When did it get cracked?
I cannot pinpoint it exactly. All I know is that it must have happened sometime in the last 2 days.
Okay. Both the gramophone and the tape got cracked recently. Bet Canu hates eggs. Well, Canu? Do you hate eggs,
She
Canu?
Laughing?
It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A
And?
model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya?
Another good question.
A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint. This photograph is my favorite photograph.
So, why'd you rip it in half?
That was not me. Besides, it was not a half that was ripped off. It was only a third. I believe Freya was attempting to communicate something through this painting.
Any idea what it was?
I am not the person to ask. All I see is a blood-red mountain with angry storm clouds brewing above it. As such, I cannot ascertain any meaning from it whatsoever.
It's not what I see.
There is a drawing of me, a drawing of Detective Hawkshaw, and a drawing of Poppy and Fitz.
Do you know who was reading this book?
It belongs to my mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother has not been in the library for some time. A book. My book.
And what's in it?
Pages.
Of?
This belongs to Professor Pointer, does it not?
No, I don't think so.
Who else would own such a pointless little telescope?
It's a telescope.
Oh yes, it has a telescopic lens. It can only be used for looking at things that are far away.
That's not what Hawkshaw said it was for. Sister says she it's not half, it's a third. Apparently, well...
The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless. Unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible.
Depends
On what?
on the structural integrity of your teeth. That blade.
It's a troll for gardening.
It is.
Is this the murder weapon?
Why did Poppy leave shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be?
Well, Poppy did say she's not the only one that's been in there.
Who is that in the photo?
I'm quite sure that I have no idea.
We all know who it is.
An item from Poppy's childhood. Her earliest piano lessons hold some special significance for her.
Why's that?
No idea. She has never graced me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
You two are friends, right?
We are, yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired of my company.
is it anything to do with Freya?
Oh, no. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere.
What's wrong?
Earmuffs do not go on statues.
It's just not where they go.
What a mess. Penelope should tidy up after herself.
These weren't dropped by Penny. They were dropped by birds, I think.
My argument stands. I am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable explanation.
Oh,
Huh. I wouldn't know anything about being irrationally afraid of anything.
It is a flower. It reminds me of something, but I cannot say what.
I'm getting a lot of innuendo about this flower.
Who is this her to whom the message refers?
well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object? Next!
Next.
Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah.
How could you say
You
that?
could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh. You wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections between all matter in the universe, living or inanimate.
Oh, yeah.
It is a flower. It reminds me
Now
of
that
something.
you mention it, that
but I
does look
cannot
like
say
Penny. Huh. I didn't connect that before. Good eye, Amster.
There's something about that diary we found in Fifi's room. Something
Suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
Yeah, let's go there
There's
now.
something about the report of Fitz going up Pointer Tower. Something suspicious.
Let's ask him about it.
Nah.
There's something about Hawkshaw's
Wow.
handheld microscope.
Catching all kinds of suspicions all of a sudden.
Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
You know what? Let's do those suspicions later. Let's finish up talking to Felix and sorta talking to Flora. I think this may be one of my favorite tunes in the game. Check the Me Tomo stage in Smash. What? This place? I don't remember that. Oh, the last map. Yeah, the big tower map.
Dearest Flora, a remarkable woman. Oh, yes. Been married over
yes.
20 years now.
You two still get on?
Of course. What a question.
She hasn't gone quiet on you.
It's true she has an independent streak. She's had it her whole life. She's the youngest of 3. Always something of a lone wolf, you know? Just the way she is.
Lone wolf is putting it lightly. She doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone.
About
She
anything.
just likes time to herself. away from the company of other humans.
Other humans?
Well, yes, other people, you know.
That's odd.
You're the one currently basking in his presence. You tell me.
Let's move on.
Next.
My daughter Fiona, our little burgeoning genius. You've
Sounds
met
like
her?
the king from
We
Shrek.
did. She's going by
Who's
Fifi
that?
these
King
days.
Fark? Was
So
it
I've
Farquaad?
heard. I asked her some weeks ago.
It's been
What's
so
wrong
long, I
with
don't
her
remember.
real name? She told me, get this, she wanted a name with an even number of syllables. She makes up the strangest things when she's under pressure.
What makes you think she made that up?
I happen to know the real reason she prefers Fifi over Fiona.
Oh, yeah?
It's what Freya called her.
Mm-hmm.
Quite the character, eh? A fellow member of the Order of the Crimson Cloak.
Is that a real thing?
No, I just meant because we both wear, you know, red capes of a sort.
Has she questioned you yet?
If you call that questioning, she seemed bored by everything I had to say. I heard on the grapevine, supposedly Hawkshaw is searching for some rare item, something called the Golden Beetle. Honestly, it's probably a bunch of sensationalist rubbish.
You reckon?
Quite sure. There is no treasure called the Golden Beetle.
How do you know?
Because I would have heard of it. Uncommonly skilled as an artist, but Freya was so much more than her talent. She helped me get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving, too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh, yes, especially recently.
How are you related to Freya?
Somewhat distantly, as it happens. My father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically, that makes her a fellow. Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all. There's a family tree in the Grand Hall. You should take a look at it.
What about her inheritance?
And every bit
Freya's
of it.
parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything at Tangle Tower. Fitz? I don't trust him. He's slippery. Never commits to anything. Brain like an onion.
An onion?
Did you
Says
two have
layers.
an argument?
No, but my daughter doesn't like him at all. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. She's a very vigilant young woman. Percival Pointer. Good old... So, what do you reckon? Is he the murderer?
I don't know, maybe. We
Hey,
still need...
That is not information we're willing to share at this time.
I'm just saying...
All right, hamster. You have a good
keep
night.
an
We'll
eye
talk
on
at you
him.
later.
Holds on to a lot of bitterness.
Thanks for hanging
this
out.
old Pointer. Just because he's always struggled to support his family. Slightly pathetic, really.
And how long have you known him?
Over 35 years.
Childhood friends? Rivals?
Don't know if I'd do him the honor of considering him my rival. Penelope seems to have really settled into a groove. She struggled a bit when she was younger. Always a little estranged.
How come?
Well, she was mostly raised by her uncle, and he really only makes time for his own daughter. Now, of course, she's bringing the two families together through her marriage.
Maybe.
It's a nice gesture, heartfelt, but futile. Poppy's a good friend to my daughter, always has been. I think they get on well because they're so different.
Different, like how?
Poppy is, she's quite introspective, good with feelings. Fiona, not so much. Still, Poppy always seems to be sulking about something.
The heavy, heavy price of emotional intelligence.
Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, yes, less likely to come back.
That's kind of extreme.
Yes, it is rather, isn't it?
Felix has no cake, no ass on it. I don't know. I actually missed most of this. I'm gonna listen to this again.
Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say.
Alright, well, that's what I missed.
What's this?
It's
What's
my case file.
this?
It's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You mean to say you're bound by the limits of what's written in this little document? Sounds dreadful.
I found it comforting.
Well, it's the way the game works, man.
Rather ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go? Years of wind and rain have not been kind to it either.
Do you know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall. But that looks like it might belong to Poppy. I'm as confused as you are.
I think you're confused about a lot of things.
Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
Oh, shifty eyes. I saw those shifty eyes.
It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass, given the circumstances.
Ah, yes. So we shall.
Yeah, this guy definitely skipped leg day.
It would have been a beautiful painting. It's rather a shame Freya was unable to finish it.
Nothing about it seems strange to you.
Well, all these modern paintings are slightly strange, aren't they? The emotion of the piece taking over from, say, anatomical accuracy.
What about the knife in Flora's hand?
A knife?
It's not a knife.
You
You don't?
Well, as I was saying, Freya's artistic approach distorts certain shapes. Hard to say exactly what we're looking at.
Does Flora normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
Rules to live by.
Don't be asking me about my egg and what's in it.
Flora's quite fond of that old thing. It's in poor shape, though.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do. But that looks like it might belong to Poppy. Ah, you found it. What do you think, huh? I had to rush the final touches a little bit.
Oh,
It
these are
turned
finished.
out all right, though.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course, surrounded by all her favorite people. I've been carving for a couple of years now. I was hopeless when I started, but it didn't take me long to master it, as you can see.
Yeah.
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do indeed, yes. Freya kindly taught me the basics. Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can imagine. Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course,
Well, you know.
I own a great many. But my weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that.
Yeah, right. Keeps the safety on his swords all the time.
My daughter Fiona and her best friend. They grow up so fast.
Do you know why it's ripped like that?
Ah, yes. I didn't even notice. No idea. That's one of Freya's paintings, is it not? It's impressive, but a little miserable for my tastes. Freya was quite the talent. She had a way of capturing the spirits of her subjects. Not in an evil way, in a good way. Where did you find that?
It was in the library.
Really? How odd. Why would someone lock up a book like that?
We think it's a secret diary.
Aha! Teenagers are funny, aren't they?
Yeah, there ain't a lot going on in that head of his, I don't think.
Why don't you ask Fiona about that one? Looks like her area of expertise. That looks like it might belong to Fitz. I've never seen that before. Looks valuable. Now this is still in very good condition. Apart from the crack, of course.
What
There's
about
a
those
crack.
shards on the
Oh, there is a
inside of the
crack.
horn?
Looks like somebody broke a glass and was trying to conceal the evidence. Cunning.
There's a whole lot of cracked stuff in this story.
Oh dear.
Do you know who this is?
Not a clue.
Why does everybody pretend they don't know this is Poppy?
I've never been one for music. Why not ask Poppy instead?
And the statue was up in the rooftop garden.
Yes, it's been there a while. You can see the brass is slightly tarnished by the elements, but it's not too bad. Might be salvageable. Is that a clue? Really?
It might be.
It's already proven to be a clue.
Bizarre things, aren't they? Penelope seems rather attached to them.
Do you not feel sorry for them in that little cage?
Come now, I'm sure they could leave if they really wanted to. That looks like it might belong to Fitz. Goodness me!
Goodness.
What's this all about? Some kind of rare jewel?
I'm pretty sure the research is about a real insect.
If it's made of gold, then it's made of gold.
Nope. Alright.
There's something about Felix's painting supplies.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
Something
Suspicious.
Let's ask him about it.
Later.
There's something about the image of Flora in the painting. Something
Suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
In a bit. And of course, he went straight back to sleep. So we've got suspicion markers on just about everybody now. Everybody but him. We've already done Pennies. We've already done Poppies. We just haven't uncovered this one. Where is... this place?
It's a little glass box.
I think it's a vivarium.
Come again?
See the leaves and twigs in there? Might have been for keeping insects.
Yeah, we remember she gets the insects from what's his face? Fitz.
Not the kind of
It's cool. Looks like old mining equipment or something.
Do you think this was always supposed to be a bedroom?
I don't know. It is kind of a weird shape.
No windows either. Even though we're halfway up a tower, someone's been tracking in mud from outside.
Interesting. Maybe that's from the rooftop garden.
That painting is really something.
Why would you want it looming over your bed like that?
Maybe Freya enjoyed the atmosphere it creates.
The atmosphere of chaos and oppression?
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph.
Yeah, we already got that. So Fitz said we should come back in here. Maybe he was talking about this
We
thing.
already solved it.
Brushes, pencils.
They're clean, but they look pretty well used. Painting supplies.
Drawings taped up on the wall.
What's that one on the left?
Looks like two people standing together, and one of them's holding a red rose.
Already got that. I feel like we are missing a couple of clues somewhere.
Did Freya paint those animals on her ceiling?
They're kind of simplistic.
Maybe she painted them when she was younger. That's weird.
What did you find in the drawers?
Nothing. They're completely empty. A pillow with a paw print pattern.
It's a cushion.
Yeah, but that doesn't alliterate.
Okay. I don't know if there's anything new in here or we've got everything. Alright, so we've talked to everybody but Flora about all the clues that we've got and about everybody else.
I'm still not sure about this thing.
Should we take another look?
But what's the purpose of it? So we'll probably find the clue to this. Something to do with Penelope. This clue might have something to do with Poppy. I don't know about this one or this one yet.
Let's come back later.
Yeah, let's. Alright. I like how everything is kind of coming together here. We're unraveling this story. And it's more and more interesting as I get into it. It's pretty cool. This game is a much improved version of the first one, of Detective Grimoire. I'm liking this a lot. That said, we're gonna have to cut it for today. Is this the last game in the series? I hope not. This is the latest game in the series. There's only... Basically, there's 3 games in the series currently. There's, I think, 2 versions of Detective Grimoire, which we've already played, and there's this. If all I had ever played was the first one, I would have told you I don't really care if they ever make another one. But this one's impressing me a good deal. I would happily play another game in this series if it's like this one. This one's a lot more interesting. Let's see here. Ooh, that cat's jumping around me. Alright, guys. I'm gonna call it here for tonight. We're gonna pick this game back up next week by talking to Flora, and then we'll get all these suspicions worked out. And man, I think at that point we're gonna have a pretty good idea of what's going on here. Also, I bet there's a secret room right here. I bet. Odd that there's an empty space there. But let's see, who are we gonna go see? Oh, snow streaming. That seems like a good plan. So I'm gonna send y'all over to Snow. I don't hate her. You might hate her. I don't. I think she puts on a pretty fun show. So we're gonna go over there. And I will see y'all next week back in Tangle Tower. Actually, we're going to kind of back on our regular schedule now. Tomorrow's Splatoon. Then Wednesday's Idol Show. Thursday's nothing. Splatoon again on Friday. And then we should be back to Professor Layton Saturday. It's all down there in the description and everything. The whole schedule. No surprises. But y'all have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. I'm having a good time. Hope y'all are too. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.